Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. The Canadians can't quite get it done in this one, game 4, and we lose 3-2 against the Buffalo Sabres in this one. It's a tough loss. Not entirely thrilled with our efforts there. Obviously, you knew that this game was going to be a tough one after two pretty convincing wins for the Canadians back to back in games 2 and 3. So we obviously knew that Buffalo was going to come out swinging in this one. They made a goaltending change that seemed to work out pretty well for them. I don't really think that Luukkonen played any better than Lyon was playing in the first 3 games, so I don't really know if it made much of a difference, but he seemed to have an impact, made the saves when he needed to make them. But at the same time, I felt like the Canadians kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit. They weren't quite able to generate a whole lot of offense, especially on 5-on-5, and even more so in that first period. It just wasn't really going our way until kind of towards the end of that period there. There's a lot of pressure from Buffalo, especially early on, that they obviously capitalized on. They got that Samuelson goal 6.5 minutes in there. So, they definitely pushed. They definitely wanted to win this game a little bit more than the Montreal Canadiens did, which is frustrating considering the fact that it's a playoff game and you could have gone up 3-1 in the series, had that game gone your way. But instead, we got to start with a tie series here, and we're right back to where we were, in the first round. It's going to be it's a best of 3 at this point, right? Like who can be better over the next couple games here. So it'll be interesting series going the rest of the way, but just my general takes, it just didn't really feel like the Canadians wanted this win as badly as the Buffalo Sabres did, and that ended up being what is on the score sheet there. The Canadians definitely could have won this game. Like, absolutely, they could have won this game, even if it wasn't their greatest effort. Dobes still played fantastic. We had some great chances that we just couldn't quite convert on. A couple bounces go our way as opposed to not. We're coming out of this with a 3-1 series lead. So a tough one, but again, going into it, it just felt like in the first period. Buffalo was just kind of all over us. They had all of the momentum. It was inevitable. It was exactly like how it was in game 2 or game 3, sorry. They were bound to score, and that's exactly what happened. They got a quick one there. Some great passing from Buffalo. There's nothing anybody can do on that one other than just be a little bit better and not let them get into that position where they've got those passing options available in the first place. But they take it easy. 1-0 lead there. Then we have some kind of crazy stuff that goes on. Jack Quinn, I believe, backhands one into Dobesh's glove, hits the glove on the follow through, and then kind of brushes by him after that. Or I think it was Hellenis who brushes by him right before Quinn takes that shot in the backhand that he then follows through with the glove, which pushes the glove just over the goal line to be counted as a goal. But then the Canadians wisely called for goaltender interference, which is a ballsy call by Martin St. Louis early on in this game. It goes our way, and we end up getting that goal taken off for goaltender interference. It was a lengthy review, but it ended up working out for us in the end. And it kind of sparks our team because, right after that, a couple of minutes after that, Newhook scores his 6th goal of the postseason. He continues to be absolutely red hot. It's a great pass. Demidov starts this off with a nice pass to Jake Evans, who is all alone in the front of the net. He takes a shot that just goes a little bit high over the net, but a great play by Jake Evans because instead of just giving up on the play after missing the net, though, he follows up, gets that puck from behind the net, and then passes it out to Alex Newhook, who is in the slot area where he just came from. And Newhook makes no mistake on this one. He bangs this one home for his 6th of the postseason. Jake Evans gets his 5th assist, and Ivan Demidov his 4th. So a great goal. Alex Newhook continues to be red hot in this postseason. Great effort all the way around. And then in the dying seconds of the first period, Buffalo takes a dumb penalty that we were able to take advantage of. And Cole Caulfield, who is starting to get a little bit hot again as well, he gets his 3rd goal of the postseason, his 2nd of this series. A nice kind of shake and bake from down by the goal line. He tucks this one past Luukkonen for his 3rd goal of the series there, or of the postseason. Slavkovsky and Hudson the assist. Slavkovsky is his 2nd assist, and Lane Hudson his 8th assist of the postseason. So really great goal there to make them pay for those stupid penalties. If we had done a little bit more than that, more of that throughout the rest of this game, we probably would have walked out with a win. But unfortunately, that's the only power play goal we'll score in this one. In the second period, this is really what crushes us, is Our own Zamboni door gets Tage Thompson a free goal. Tage Thompson on a 4-minute double minor power play. He'll just dump this puck in from the neutral zone. It takes a really fortuitous bounce off of the glass by where the Zamboni doors are and goes right towards Dobes, who is not ready for that puck to come towards him. Goes off of his leg and into the back of the net, and that's just you could dump the puck in a million times, and you'd probably score a couple times just because the Habs Zamboni door is actually known for bounces like that. But even still, it's very unlikely that it would happen exactly like that. It does happen exactly like that in this one, though, and it ends up going into the back of our net to tie the game up, and it's just a really unfortunate bounce for the Canadians, who are playing well. Obviously, you don't want to take a 4-minute double minor. That really sucks. Obviously, like that's just not something that we want to be doing at any point in the game, and especially protecting a 1-goal lead in the second period there. But yeah, just a really unfortunate bounce that gets Buffalo back into this one. Really changes the game, in my opinion. So really unfortunate, especially considering the fact that we're at home and we're getting our own. The Bell Center itself is is conspiring against the Montreal Canadiens here. Definitely frustrating, but you got to keep playing, and we did. Definitely a lot more power play chances. Into the end of the second period, the start of the third period, all that kind of stuff, but just nothing that we were able to generate any offense on. We had some good chances. Caulfield had some chances to continue to score there. Safkovsky had some chances. Pretty much everybody had a look at the net, but things were getting blocked, saves were getting made, all that kind of stuff. Luukkonen played a great game, especially late into this one, and it was definitely unfortunate. There's just so many penalties that the Buffalo Sabres took in this one that you'd love to be able to make them pay for, just some stupid penalties that they were taking, but they locked in on their penalty kill, and we were not able to get any offense out of that. Instead, in the third period, Zach Benson takes full advantage of a stupid Jake Evans penalty. It's in the offensive zone. Jake Evans is trying to back check, and he grabs, I think it was like Byram or somebody, grabs his arm and pulls him down. It's a holding penalty, and especially when Jake Evans is in the box, that's definitely not something that you want to see if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, because of how good Jake Evans is on the penalty kill. That obviously doesn't go well for us. Zach Benson kind of gets left alone in the middle of the ice there. And then he's able to kind of shift to the back end and roof that thing to take a 3-2 lead. And one of the things I've noticed about our penalty kill, especially like recently against the Buffalo Sabres, is we've kind of gone into more of a diamond formation, and I'm not sure if I really love that. I've seen it a couple times where we have not only were we in a diamond formation, but we're putting a defenseman kind of up by the top of the kind of up by the blue lines there. It feels like that's not really working for us. It feels like, in other games too, they've been able to make cross-crease passes and get some chances kind of in towards the front of the net, going across from right to left, left to right. I'm not loving that, like especially when I think it was like Newhook that was down low that could have been covering Benson but wasn't quite able to. If there's a defenseman in that position, like I think Carrier was up by the blue line. If those guys switch around, maybe it's a different story. He's not able to get as open as he was. But I think the Canadians would do well to kind of just reevaluate the penalty kill a little bit better. I feel like Buffalo has been having some recent success on their power play. Obviously, we're not really going to count that Tage Thompson goal as a penalty killing mistake, but I feel like they've been scoring on the power play a lot, which is something they didn't do against the Boston Bruins. So I think that might be something that the Canadians want to take a look at going into Game 5 here, is how they can kind of reconfigure to continue to frustrate this Buffalo power play there, because if we can do that, obviously number one thing is we want to be more disciplined so that we don't have to kill in the first place, but if we can continue to frustrate that power play, then we're going to be in a good position going into these final couple games of this series here. That's definitely something I'd want to look at if I were Martin St. Louis, because that power play goal is what ends up being the game winner. We have some good chances down towards the end, but Buffalo really locked in defensively in the last few minutes there, made some great block shots. Luukkonen didn't even see that many shots towards the end. They were all just getting blocked, or some good defense to not allow the Canadians to break into the zone at all. And that ends up being what does us in there. Interestingly enough, too, the Buffalo Sabres end up beating us on the face-off circle as well. They're 52.5 to Canadians 47.5. That makes a little bit of a difference as well. Obviously, they scored on 2 of their 4 power plays. We outshot them 30-22. But yeah, like definitely a different game, and we obviously you would expect that, right? Like there's no way that we're gonna be in a position where we're gonna take them down by like 3 different games in a row that we're going to score 5 on them or whatever. Like, it's not going to happen like that. Obviously, the Buffalo Sabres were going to come out swinging in this one. It's disappointing to not get a win in a game where I still felt like the Canadians could have won, even if they did get outplayed at times in this game. But yeah, like it's just the way it's going to go. Obviously, nobody expected this series to be a short one. We're in for the long haul, just like we were with Tampa Bay. We just got to gear up for this next game here. So that's pretty much all I've got for this one. I think the penalty kill needs a little bit of work. The power play could maybe use a shakeup as well. It just feels like we're not really getting a whole lot going on those special teams. We're not like getting a whole lot going on 5-on-5 either, which is funny. It makes it sound like we're not doing anything right. I just feel like like we're getting chances and we're making things work, but I think there are definitely times where Buffalo is all over us on 5-on-5. There are times where we're all over them on 5-on-5. It's just like I think the difference in this game in particular was the special teams. Buffalo won the special teams battle, penalty kill and power play wise, and that's the difference maker. Obviously, the Zamboni door is the real difference maker. Somebody got to fix that at some point. But outside of that, I feel like we gotta shore that up a little bit. I think our power play is still good. Like I think we're getting good chances there, but I'd like to see us get a little bit more, a little bit less passing, and a little bit more, attacking the net front there. Make 1 or 2 passes go towards the front and make a dangerous play happen, and make Luukkonen or Lyon, whoever it is in Game 5, make them have to make a big play, make a big save there. So I'd like to see that a little bit better. Obviously it seems like this is going to be a series as a whole where we're going to get, a lot of power plays and a lot of penalty kills and all that kind of stuff. Neither team seems to be incredibly disciplined, especially in this game. So we're going to get some more power play opportunities in Game 5. We just got to find a way to outdo Buffalo in that special teams battle there. So yeah, again, that's pretty much all I have for this one. A disappointing finish there. You would love to be up 3-1, get the fans going home happy with back-to-back home wins, 3 wins in a row, but unfortunately we have a tie series on our hands here, and now just like it was against Tampa Bay, we've got a best of 3 going back to Buffalo. So that is pretty much all I got for this one. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Somebody go fix that Zamboni door for Game 6, because we're going to need that once we get back to home ice for Game 6 there, but until then, again, that is all I have for you guys on this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you after a big win in Game 5 on Thursday.